Hey, I hope you enjoy this interview about the Las Vegas Open 12 on October 2nd through 5th, and specifically about the Old World events. But if you're watching to get your hands on this guy, a free ticket into the Las Vegas Open, please watch the end of the video to see how you can enter. Thanks, and enjoy. Hey everyone, I'm so excited to have Jake and Andy on the channel to talk about Las Vegas Open 12? Is that Roman numeral 12? Is that correct?
It is Roman numeral 12 because it's obviously a double year, so it's like let's name it something that's an in-betweener. That's what
Exactly.
we came
So
up with.
we're doubling up on LVO in 2025, so it's LVO 12. I'm so excited for you to be on the channel and talk specifically about the Old World and how the Old World events are fitting into the greater picture of the Las Vegas Open. I'm super excited to go. I'm gonna be there. Of course, you two are gonna be there. And I've got a, I guess if this is a professional interview, I've got some hard-hitting questions to throw at you. And but the first of those, I'm gonna start with Jake. Who are you? What are you doing with the frontline gaming? And what's your favorite of all the games at these tournaments? What's your favorite game? Oh, it's big
Fair enough.
questions.
I'm a little disappointed that it wasn't a "Who are you" in your best Batman voice, but I guess that's okay. Oh. Who am I? I'm Jake Jacobson. I am one of the newer members of, or one of the newest members of the admin team over here at Frontline Gaming. Officially, its vice president, and one of the major roles that I hold here is head of events. I've actually been overseeing our events department for, I think we're going on 2 years now. But up until more recently, due to some personnel change, I've taken a very hands-on role. Instead of being behind my desk, I committed to getting on site and kind of giving it the absolute love and attention that it deserved. So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. Yeah, I was
So
definitely
yeah,
gonna say we ran into each other at the Atlantic City Open. I had a great time there. I helped the TO a little bit, and it's great seeing you at the events. But the question is, of all your children of the games at these tournaments, can you choose one that's your favorite?
No, absolutely
Okay.
not. I've
I
come
tried.
from and it's not even like a favoritism thing, but I mean, for the record, I did start in Warhammer Fantasy.
Nice.
So I got into this hobby with my lizard men. Yeah, Andy knows this. I started with my lizard men, and that was, oh my god, 97,
Yeah.
98. Yeah, I am older than I look. I've been accused of being a vampire before, but it is what it is. But
What
obviously, like
chaos
after a
god
long,
did you
yeah.
swear allegiance to?
Oh man, back then it was the closest I got into selling my soul to chaos was the Beasts of Chaos.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
I really did enjoy them.
you're close to my heart. I play Lizardman. I play Beastman. I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Very nice.
But let's get into the specifics. As I mentioned before, this is there's been a shakeup in location and a shakeup in date within the year. So there's going to be two LVOs in 2025. Let me know when and where this LVO is taking place, but also just what's the reason for the change? What happened?
Yeah. I mean, to make a long story short, it's been on our radar and on the radar for quite some time. Obviously, switching up schedules, venue not so much, but switching up schedules for a show that's now 12 years in the running was was not a light decision to
Yeah.
take. But I would say we're going on like 3 years to where, yeah, we're going into 3 years now where the need to have a backup for the venue that we had, which was formerly the Rio,
Mm-hmm.
but also b you know a future planning venue where do we go from here? We were capped on space. I think we realized it really the first year at the Rio, but definitely like felt it in the second year, to where it got to the point where it's like, well, we got to rob Peter to pay Paul in regards to tabletop and gaming space. And that was just not a great feeling anytime that conversation had to happen from our team to TOs, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you only had like 14 people, participate in the tournament last year, but then we've got this game that's looking to bleed over into 36, 48, 96, so on and so forth. There's just only a finite amount of space. I could probably talk many hours about like what went into the deciding process, but that's it in a nutshell. And the date itself was very, very volatile, because in Vegas, it's like it's like the world's destination for trade shows and conventions. And we're not just talking tabletop. We're talking CES, we're talking SHOT Show, we're talking World of Concrete. And these are like, it brings in millions and millions of people. So, kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, I guess we could have done it in January, but the date proposal was January 2nd. I'm not sure that's a great idea.
It'd be hard to get people to come out for that one. Yeah, I get.
I was gonna say, I think that would be a hard sell. But alternatively, like adding onto it too, it's the timeline of things. And we retail online, so our e-commerce is a big portion of our business. So naturally, the holidays, Black Friday, all this stuff leading up into January certainly makes things tough. And even for the attendee side of things, it's like, well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but holidays are pretty expensive.
They are.
As my kid personally gets much more expensive interests, the holidays get expensive.
Just give him free admission to LVO. That's a good Christmas present, right?
Yeah, that'll go over well. Of course, he asked me, he's like, "Are there Pokemon cards there?" I think that was like one of the first things. I'm like, "No, sorry." And then he lost complete interest,
and he's out the door. Yeah, I gotcha.
Right. Yeah, so a whole bunch of stuff included, but that's relatively in a nutshell. We wanted to take LVO to its capacity that we feel that it can and will go. We know it's a double year, but now with the space and the facility, which is gorgeous, by the way, the sky is absolutely the limit. So yeah.
So it's October 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that.
Second through the 5th. So Thursdays, yeah. So Thursday is always our registration day and kind of our setup day, and because we're able to just have more flexibility, the doors are going to open much earlier than ever on Thursday, and name of the game is no long line. So we've got a plan.
Yeah. That was a situation last year too, or a common situation that happens
every year. It's been every year.
Yeah. And it's being held. What's the name of the actual like convention? Because it's outside of a hotel. It's its own space, right?
Yeah. So it is a convention center. So it's the second largest in Las Vegas. It's the Expo Center at World Market Center. So a lot of people know the World Market Center towers because it's actually like the global furniture showroom.
Yeah, I do.
But they actually built out. Yeah. They actually built out a convention center, right next to it. So awesome facility, and very, very new and very fresh. I think 2021 was their grand opening.
Yeah. Awesome. And just my last question is for you, like, where can people find more information if they're interested in coming or interested in learning about what's going on there?
Yeah, definitely. Well, with how much is actually happening and going on with the LVO every year, it does have its own dedicated website. So that's the LasVegasOpen.net. And outside of that, all of our like tournament formats, our event formats, information about our regional events, everything's available on our events hub, and that's events.frontlinegaming.org. And that is where you find like player packets as they get released by TOs, upcoming dates. So we've added that in. So we've already added the 2026 tab. And just stay up to date on everything through those two platforms.
Awesome. And I mean, let's be real here. The old world and Warhammer Fantasy is my passion. It's Andy's passion. How have you seen it changing in the frontline gaming sphere? It's growing, obviously, because the game just came out. Is it skyrocketing or is it a slow growth? I mean, how are you seeing it compared to the rest of the games that within frontline gaming?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey to watch. So the launch of Old World, I remember it happened at one of the LVOs. I remember like the GW crew like going around, at launch with the box sets. It was like a parade of the launch box sets that were coming out. So it is relatively. It's so weird to say that it's new. Like it's awesome that this new thing has come about the scene, and really like you can tell like now. I would say fast forward to, I forget exactly where we're at, like a year and a half or give or take.
It's been almost a year and a half.
Yeah, that was a good guess, right? But yeah, in the evolution within this year and a half, it's been really awesome to see like how quickly the old world crowd has found its old world crowd, if you will. um I just love the energy, and that's where Andy and I started talking, a lot more closely. Where it's like, look, the older old crowd and just this scene, like there's a whole lot to this. This player base absolutely wants to be supported. Sorry, and it's our job to be supportive of that. There's a lot of people have always seen FLG and LVO to be like very like 40K centric. Like, sure, I understand. Like, we run some of the biggest, if not like the biggest Warhammer tournaments, globally. And I understand that, the majority of the attendance historically has been on the 40K side, just because it is what it is. But that by no measure means that we should not give that same experience to like, all gaming systems across the board. And where Old World comes in, it's been one of my personal favorite like hobby showcases.
Yes.
And that's huge. So that, like, to me, because I'm like pretty big on the hobby element and the painting side in general. Like, that to me, like, it was very telling that this crowd is it's not just AOS being separated off. It's the Old World crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think the growth throughout the events, we've had Old World at several of our regional events throughout the year. So it's hard to say about growth, because this is the first like true season, like our true event season that we've had. Wait, no, yeah, or I think we're going into calendar year, if you will, because we did have Old World at BAO last year, and even their space is limited because it's NorCal. But I think, Andy, we went from like 18, to
36.
to a wait list, but hard cap at 36. And you know how hard of a cap that was if you were there. Like, I think we could have taken it to 48, maybe even up to 64, truth be told. But that just means, it's there.
If I remember correctly, that the Bay Area Opens held at the Burlingame Crown Plaza, because I used to live in San Francisco, and I know that hotel space, and you guys took it all over, right?
Yeah. Because we run it in conjunction with KublaCon.
Yep.
So, great friends of ours, and we love just being part of their con. There's a lot of crossover traffic. There's, it's always stuff to do. But that facility, I mean, we were like, this year we bled out into the actual like hallway, That's where we had Reg, we had our event shop. We just did what we could with the space to maximize it. But yeah, next year we've already secured a new venue, because it was like same thing like the LVO. It's like, we don't want to say, hey, no, you can't run your tournament here. So we'll be at the Westin in Burlingame as well.
Awesome. Well, that's actually,
you heard it here first. I actually never told anybody.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
It's only been Kubla and myself that know this. So.
Exclusive. Oh, that's actually cool. I'm strongly considering coming out for that one, because I have a lot of friends and a lot of history in San Francisco. You might see me there. Then. You might see me there.
If you can get a ticket,
But that's a great segue over to Andy, the TO of the Las Vegas Open Warhammer The Old World tournament. Andy, tell me who you are. Tell me a little bit about you, and tell me why you run the tournament. Why do you chose to take this on?
Oh, that's interesting. So I started playing Warhammer in my garage in like the late 80s. I think we started at 3rd edition. And so I think within 2 years, we started playing at conventions in Los Angeles, near Los Angeles International Airport. So there was like this LAX convention that we used to play in. And we realized that going to events is where we really learned the rules. And so we started playing at conventions. And then 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 we
Yeah.
We had been doing so many things wrong in my garage. The way we played the game, the way in which we deployed, the way, so when we went to these events, we were like, oh, these guys really know the rules. And it was really cool feeling to kind of be part of a greater community than just, a couple of my buddies from high school in my parents' garage. And so as I, went to college and kind of didn't have as much time to play the game, I always thought in my back of my mind, well, okay, when I get out and I'm making money, then I can have more money to actually afford the game. And I could
So
actually,
true.
go to bigger events and meet a bigger group of people. So in the 2000s, we were able to kind of start going to like LA Games Days and LA Grand Tournaments. And so I kind of grew from that, right? We experienced that together. We went to all of them. We met like the designers. We met people from Nottingham. I took a trip over to Warhammer World in 2004, and so it was just kind of like, okay, we were able to then kind of take a different leap to really going to bigger events, meeting the greater community, and then everything fell apart and it died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
The
were all
time we
kind
don't
of,
talk about. The time we don't
yeah,
talk about.
and we were all like kind of upset. I had like a LA bunker where I used to go that had like 24 tables, and
Mhm.
every other weekend there was an event that we can go to, and we won like Games Workshop product from the bunker. And so as everything kind of started collapsing, I was like, well, I'm going to hold on to everything because you never know one day that this might come back. And so sure enough, we had to wait for a while, but when it came back, I thought, okay, well, let's do these events. And what I saw right away was there were no events. And so my thought was like, if I might have to just jump in and try try to help
Yeah.
myself, because
Just jump
if
in with both feet. Yeah.
if nobody's out there doing it, maybe I can convince. And I'd been going to 40K events with FLG since 2010. I think it was like their very first Bay Area Open I went to, because I moved into the Bay Area in 2010. And so I was like, if anybody should be doing old world events or Warhammer Fantasy events, should be FLG. They already have everything laid out. They already have the venues. They already have the um, the different times and different places each year that we can actually hold these events, and we can actually grow a community through what they've done with 40K, which was astounding, right? I think the first LVO I went to had like 80 people. So now it's like,
And how many
I
people?
I
Yeah.
don't even know how many were in January. What, like 5,000-6,000?
It was 1,000, or on the 40K singles.
Yeah.
Or how many
Yeah,
how many attendees did you have?
It was over 5,000 total, but on the 40K side, it was a world record for 40K singles at Dice Roll 1,059.
That's all. So
It's
yeah,
mind-boggling.
from
1,059 players in one tournament is just mind-boggling.
And yeah, this is a single. Like, we're not talking 40K friendly. We're not talking, the doubles event. So it's,
with a narrative.
It's great. Yeah. Oh yeah, not even including the narratives.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, that's where I hope that we can get with Old World, is that we continue growing the community, have multiple events through FLG. I created my own small group that we have our own events pretty much in the Bay Area, and we had one in Los Angeles, but we're probably going to be ending up this year doing 11 events. And then the 2 that we're doing with FLG, and then any help like I can give to FLG on all their other events and figuring out TOs. And ultimately it was like, if nobody's going to grow this community, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get my friends to help me. And so
go.
I convinced them, and Jake has been awesome enough to just believe in it and continue to grow these events and streamline them. We were streamlining them, and we're because it's an older game, and because I came out of the 2000s, going to events with Games Workshop, I kind of pulled from what I had learned back then, and that's how we have the soft scores that we put back into the game.
Yeah.
And we have soft scores, and and we really want people to play a full game. We don't want just it to be not that I don't like esports, but I don't really want the esportification to happen to Old World. I kind of want it to still be that hobby where it's very important that what you show up with and the time you put into your
I agree
army,
with that.
the love, yeah, you've put into your army is important part of the event. So our overall winners are our best winner, are given the most amount of accolades and awards, and so that takes into account not only how well they did playing the game, but how well they were as an opponent, and
Hmm.
how beautiful
Sportsmanship is
our
always
time.
it's such a big part of this game, and the hobby element is such a big part of the game, and it's more than just playing the game, which I think is part of the reason why we love this so much. And that's a great segue into me. I'm going to grill you a little bit about this tournament, and I've got a couple questions I want to ask you. First off, like, one of the biggest things I hear from people who don't go in the tournament, not into the tournament scene, who just play in their basement with their friendlies, with their friends, their friendly local game store guys. There's a little bit of an apprehension about going to tournaments, big tournaments, and specifically because it feels like it's going to be too competitive and too people that are really into the rules and are really into winning. Um, I have a different experience going to tournaments, and I specifically had a different experience going to Andy, your tournament. And I want to know if you have any like thoughts about that. Anything you want to say to anyone who's on the fence about coming to a big tournament?
Please come. Please. I think ultimately we're all playing a competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody loves winning. Everybody loves being able to do well in their games. But I don't think that's the end all be all of what we're about. And I think there's multiple ways of competing to be like one of the best opponents, everybody's favorite opponent, competing to have one of the best looking armies. That's another form of competition. And what I feel that if you're in the top tables, yeah, you should expect to have a real keen lock on the rules. You should be playing enough and testing your army enough so that you're actually going to be able to compete against those people who are at the top tables. But apart from like the top 10%, I think ultimately people are realizing that they're just there to meet people, roll dice, have fun, show off their armies, look at other people's armies. I think it's a spectacle, and I think and I come from the entertainment world, and so I think that it's really one rare form of entertainment that we have nowadays that's away from the computer, away from a screen, and you're face to face with other people. So it's almost like a vacation for me in many ways. It's to leave and get away. It's like a Warhammer vacation.
Yeah, and there's a lot of community there. Yeah, there's a lot of community. There's a lot of, I had a great game. Let's go have a beer together after the tournament. Like let's go hang out. Yeah, it's such a good vibe there. I'm really stoked for that. I hope people, because I really have talked to a lot of people who are on the fence about going to tournaments in general.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
I couldn't agree more with everything that Andy said, because this is something that pops up like all the time, especially for us. Having like historically been tied with like the ITC, like meaning like the competitive tournament circuit for 40K and stuff like that. But it's in the word just in general. It's tournament. It's like, oh, I'm going to a tournament. Well, yeah, I can understand, like, it's like, oh no, let me get good before like I go in. I don't want to like lose, like, who cares? But that's really the thing. It's like, who cares? It's more about the experience for sure. And like for us as organizers on the frontline gaming side, I believe the responsibility is on us to like make sure that message is relayed. This year for 2025, we've had the largest percentage of first timers. We know from the survey and just from like interacting with people across the board, not just in like the bigger systems, but across the board, we've probably had on average like 20% plus just first time big event comers, which is tremendous. And that's a very, very healthy thing for the community to grow, for the hobby to grow, because that's what we're here for. I mean, like, we're big, small, whatever, as far as like scaling of events, it's like everybody started to just kind of like hang out with, like-minded people and, organize stuff. So, and this is, to kind of toot Andy's horn for him a little bit. That's a lot of like what his outlook on things are, even when it comes to the format of the game, is why I think we grew this very quickly together because, we're of the like mindset where it's like, look, it's not just about best general. We really want to support like the best overall, for instance, being a metric, because even like what sounds like maybe is a minor, minor difference or a minor difference in outlook, it changes like the pace and the tone for things. Where it's like, oh, okay, so I got to really work hard on the hobby side, and I got to work hard on the, like the gaming side of things. But fundamentally, it's just coming to have a weekend of gaming and meeting new friends, linking up with like older friends and just being there for the experience. It's so easy to get caught up in a digital age where, like you said, it's, you're in this social, almost like a forced social contract for 3 hours at a time with somebody face to face. It's so easy to just get drowned behind a screen, 24/7. This is really like one of those rare activities, outside of like sports or something, where you spend like an entire multiple days laughing, having fun, rolling dice. It's the event experience, and I wish we could almost like change the name of tournament, but I mean, fundamentally it is a tournament. It just does, it just shouldn't come with a stigma, But that's where I think Andy and his team have done an incredible job, especially or specifically for the old world community, to harbor and set the tone, or harbor this community and set the tone for like, hey, this is what you can expect here. Because that's our jobs as tournament organizers and tournament hosts, and I think it's spoken volumes, because as soon as like now it's to the point where it's like, oh, as soon as Andy Garcia is listed as a TO, that carries weight now. Like what to expect, and it happened very quickly, which I think is awesome. So
no pressure. No pressure.
No.
Don't mess it up, Andy. Andy, don't mess it up.
And by the way, Andy is also our old world overseer, meaning our baseline format at each FLG event that has old world. Andy's graciously offered to say, hey, I'm happy to set the baseline for this is this is how the format is done, which is important for us. Like, just because we have 7 regional events, the experience shouldn't be wildly different across all 7. Like, understandably, there's regional differences on how things are played, but as far as like baseline, like, hey, this is that Andy Garcia / FLG baseline that you can expect at old world events.
Yep. And
you've done a great job, Andy. And you need
I have a lot of help. I have like a baseball team behind me.
No, your entire crew is awesome.
Yeah, I have a lot of help, and they're all incredible, and they're all like passionate and willing to like do whatever it takes, and we all volunteer for this stuff. So we're nuts. We're absolutely insane.
That's probably what it is. We're just like, oh, you're crazy, I'm crazy too. Let's be friends.
glutton for punishment over here. But that segues into a great question. The next question I have for you, Andy, take me through. First of all, just take me through the schedule of what the old world events are going to be for the weekend at LVO, and then on top of that, a player pack has not been released for LVO yet. Is that correct?
Correct.
If you want to spoil anything here, like put out some feelers, a teaser of anything you want to say, please do that now. And then also, leading up to what's going to happen this year at LVO, did you have any lessons learned from last year, or not last year, earlier this year? I was there for that tournament. It was a great run tournament, but there's always feedback. There's always lessons learned. Take me to those three things: schedule. I already forgot the second thing I asked you. Any teasers, and then lessons learned.
So schedule, I think we're going to continue on with that kind of like a 9:30 probably start time, because we still want to do 3-hour games, even though
I think that's important.
2,000 points. We want to do 3-hour games. I don't want anybody to really feel hurting for time, especially at this point. Even though we're returning to Warhammer Fantasy, it's still new to a lot of players and a lot of people who are attending. And I don't want anybody to feel really pressured with time. So I'm hoping that 3 hours is going to be a good amount of time, and then have a good amount of lunch too, so that people can, deal with the lines. And usually we like to offset it from the bigger events like 40K, so that we don't have to compete with all the 40K players for lunch, things like that.
There's a line when you check in, and there's a line for lunch for sure.
Yeah, so those are the things that we consider when we're looking at schedule. We do have a couple of scenarios that are random turn length. So sometimes those scenarios end up being a little bit less than 3 hours, which I like to end usually the first day with, because then you can get out a little bit earlier and go enjoy Las Vegas, or just go and rest, or you know what I mean, go and hang out with your friends, go and have dinner. And so the random turn length, the way that in which we do the random turn length, is that on turn 4 you have a third chance that the game will end. On turn 5 you have 2/3 a chance the game will end, and on turn 6 the game ends. So it's a little bit different than the way that the Specialist Design Studio has created rules for in our new match play guide. But that's one of the ways that we took that from actually old Warhammer Fantasy, and we've just kept it. A lot of the stuff that we do is a a merger between old and new. So since we have such a huge history with the game, a lot of us, most of us, are come from the 6th edition era. So we do have these, like these throwbacks to that time. So a lot of what we want to do for scenarios is use the match play guide, use the new stuff that everybody's familiar with, but also add in a tinge of the old that we loved.
And a little flavor on it. You don't want to just do straight out of the book. You want to add a little spice on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're doing an event, a sold out event in Monterey on September 6th. So we're doing a lot of testing. So our player packet for that event is going to be very close to probably what we're going to do for Alvio. We're still trying to figure out. We're updating our community FAQ, and then we're also looking to figure out comp. What we've seen from the East Coast and from Europe is a lot of comp based upon the new rules from Cathay and some of what's going on with vampire counts. So we want to consider all those things before we kind of come to our conclusion very shortly about what we're doing for LVO. But we want to give the players as much time as possible to adapt to any of the rule changes that, and I'm not a big comp person, so I kind of like people to play with all their toys, and so I'm going to do as little as possible just to make the game fun.
Well, I think also with all the actual game changes that recently came out, all the 1.5 rules and the match play pack and the new arcane compendiums, it's not the time to be heavy on comp. It's time to just play it out and see how it feels, and then comp comes later. But I'm excited for
exactly
that.
how I feel.
Yeah.
So we're looking to Nova right now to see what happens at Nova, how things go with that, and then
I'll be at Nova. I submitted my list,
and so that's awesome. And it seems like it has a good amount of attendees there. So and so I'm constantly talking to the TOs or other big events to see exactly what they're thinking. Not that I agree with everything, and I think that's fine. Everybody has their own creative opinion, and every TO group has their own right to kind of exercise that creative opinion at each of their events for whatever experience they want for their events. So that's kind of like where we are right now. We're just kind of looking to see what happens with these bigger events. We're looking to see how Europe comps things, and then we're going to probably make our decision very shortly after our event in Monterey in September. And then so the first 2 days will be the 6th game event, the tournament, where we will have a definitive winner for each of our categories. And then the third day, the Sunday, we normally do a doubles kind of narrative event. So we've been working on something for the last 5 months that we tested in July, and we really, really loved it. Everybody really loved it. It's just logistically a nightmare. So we're going to try to figure out if we can do it, and we're hoping we can. And again, like I said, my team is incredible. So I'm going to lean on them a lot for trying to pull this off. But we'll see if we can do it, and hopefully stay tuned, and hopefully we have something really, really cool on Sunday.
Ooh, I'm excited. Oh. Because the Sunday's for the fun, just for the fun of it, just a fun event. Nothing about competitive and something crazy off the wall. You've given me some hints outside of this interview, and I am very, very excited what's going to happen on Sunday. I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you both for joining me. If you have any parting words, please feel free to say them now. And I just want to say I'm stoked. I'm so happy you guys came on here to talk with me, and also I'm really excited to be there.
Yeah, we love having you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Come to LVO. Parting words. That's it.
Yes, parting words are go to the website, check out all the events, buy a ticket. Maybe you could win a ticket. Wink, wink. And I'll see you there.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. It's awesome. It's awesome. I've met so many friends. I think we've all met friends around the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Through these
I've made great friends going to tournaments. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, if you want to be entered to get a free entry into the Las Vegas Open 12, all you need to do is be subscribed to this channel and leave a comment on this video. Any comment at all. And then on August 29th, I'll be picking at random, I promise, the winner. Thanks for watching, and the best of luck.